Hi, and welcome to another exciting edition of Scarlet Betch. I'm Jason.
And I'm Anthony, and this is
Stefan. I'm his brother.
Hooray!
I'm a college student, senior year, and I also read comic books. So, yeah.
And he's home for Christmas.
Yay!
And he's going away this weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Well, welcome
In case you wanted to know, my hair is dyed. Actually, it's a lot darker than you may remember it. If you, you've never seen me before.
He's new.
Well, those who've been Facebook stalking Anthony probably have. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, been seeing him around on Facebook, on his YouTube channel. Videos.
But I've never
No videos.
No, that's not no video. I have 2 videos.
2 videos.
Yeah.
He was supposed to write me a video letter, and he never got back to me. So
burn.
But I never want to talk to you, Anthony.
Oh!
Well, speaking of not talking to you or people in general, so apologies for being MIA for the past month or so. We're back for the new year. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, and winter solstice, and what other various holidays you celebrate. Oh, Kwanzaa, that's right, Kwanzaa. I always forget that's a real thing that people do.
I really want to know the principles, because it has like a number of days, and each one has like an ideal, like a principle. And I was reading something about like the second one, and they talked about like the first 2 in what I was reading, and it seemed interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're back, and so we're going to be covering a lot of comic books news and stuff that's been happening in the past month or so. So to get the ball... Oh, and also apologies, there's some background noise on my end. My lovely boyfriend is making dinner, so just so you know. That's not like the world falling apart. It's cooking noises.
Hi, Alex. What is he making?
I think he's making some kind of soup. I'm not sure. There's bacon involved, so that's always a good thing.
Soup with bacon in it?
Yeah. I also went to this brunch place in New York City, and they had bacon Bloody Marys, and I'm like, thank you. It was amazing.
So here's a controversy that I've come across: bacon flavored or infused or whatever chocolate, bacon and chocolate together.
That's not a controversy. That's delicious.
I made bacon chocolate chip cookies, and they were pretty amazing.
Wow, that actually sounds quite good. The thing is, like I don't not like it, but the flavors don't mix for me. It's just the flavor of bacon and the flavor of chocolate.
It's 2 great tastes that taste great together, just like Diesel and DC underwear.
No, they don't taste great together. They just taste great at the same time.
At least with the I've heard of like chocolate covered bacon, but the cookies that I made just had the bacon fat, so it was more like the smokiness you got rather than like the actual protein flavor. So maybe that's the difference. But I was in total jerk face, and I took them to my my friend's apartment, and I was like as like gifts for like, oh, I made baked goods, and I brought them. I forgot that the girlfriend is allergic to chocolate and the boyfriend's a vegetarian. So never mind. I've seen all of these myself. So
oh, dick move.
Next time I make cookies, I'm gonna forget that kind of detail too.
But so bringing it back to comic books. So speaking of awkward situations and revelations. Wonder Woman. So in the last issue of Wonder Woman, we get the revelation that Wonder Woman is actually a demigod and the daughter of Zeus. And so in this issue, we kind of see the fallout from that. She's like, she's left Paradise Island. She's, pissed off. Hero finds out, and shit goes down.
Exactly. Yeah. No, Wonder Woman has gone completely the other side of the tracks. She's hanging out at the Bronze. Late at night.
Right? It's totally the Bronze. It's like totally the Bronze.
Also, favorite line was when Stripe hit on Wonder Woman. I was like, this is getting lesbitastic.
Yeah, lesbicistatastic. Half sister.
Yeah. Incest is best. That's the motto of the gods.
Yeah, I was also kind of weirded out by. It was just like such a dramatic shift in kind of like the tone, or because like for the past several issues, it's always kind of felt very mythical in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Because we've been like you see like Hermes, and he has like the bird legs, and we're on Paradise Island. were fighting centaurs and shit. And suddenly, like, she's like in like a bar somewhere with like rock and roll music, and then you see like Ares, and he's like dressed like some like Argentinian gentleman or something like that, covered in blood. But like it's still like, oh, so like
as Argentinian gentlemen are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's very like modern and it's a very sudden kind of like shift, you know.
That's where the series started. Like the first time we see Wonder Woman in her series, she is just hanging out in her apartment, and it's their armor and things like that. And so yeah, it definitely had the epic vibe to it. And the first pages of this comic are just like nightclub. Yeah. So it's very. You're right. It was a bit of a shock, but it was good. The tone of this is amazing, especially compared to Justice.
Yeah. Speaking of Justice League, has she actually like? I know that she's said words, but I'm not sure if she's actually done anything more than kind of like be like a Barbie doll walking around the JLA set.
No, she definitely hasn't said any declarative sentences. She's left that up to Steve. It's just questions with her at this point. Just asking how the world works, what she should do, if she should wear clothes or not. The standard questions that women need to ask men on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's very true to life.
Yeah,
JLA,
absolutely.
Very true to life. Wonder Woman, this series, just completely strange. Women doing things of their own volition, making decisions. It's just, it's backwards.
Yeah.
Really.
So speaking of, going back to Justice League Dark, and women's costumes and clothing. So like I understand. So like Zatanna's costume is updated to make her feel like more modern and less like I don't know like campy, and like she's a magician and she's wears no pants.
Right.
No pants body.
Because her costume was one of those Halloween costumes that women strippers wear.
Yeah, but oddly, kind of strangely, like with this like costume update, I find her costume like almost more vulgar in a lot of ways because it's like, how the costume was like clearly like this is for like this was my stage costume that I'm like this is like a thing that is like.
Yeah, and her old costume was an interesting mix because it was a little bit like when the Halloween costume where someone is like a woman on one side and a man on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Hers was
top and bottom.
Right, top and bottom. On the top, she was a magician. On the bottom, she was the magician's assistant.
Yeah, exactly.
So so in that sense, it kind of held with the theme, and it was interesting that way.
Yeah, so I just find like the new Zatanna kind of like dolled up with her little bustier, and the lace is really what gets me. The lace is just like makes me like weirded out. And then like if we're gonna go for like realistic and like updated and like in life and like in modern and like meshing it with society, like who walks around in like a leather in like a lacy white corset?
Prostitutes.
Yeah, right? So it's just like not much better, DC.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about the New 52 is that you have this. They just really widen that divide between like objectification of women, like the male fantasy, right, and actual women characters.
Oh my god! Speaking of, did you see the cover for like Batman Dark Knight this week? The big villain is her name is like the White Rabbit, and she's basically Playboy Bunny, and I'm like, what? Like,
so she's a Playboy Bunny with like love dust.
Evil Playboy Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like, I am a little So I'm just gonna present that without comment, and be like.
Right, it's like DC. Like we understand that there's a New 52, and that you did branch out into lots of things. But maybe one of the things you should branch out to is an online-only adult title, because I think based on what you're putting out there, looks like there's a market for it. Just saying. Call it like Birds of Prey, but spell prey with 3 X's.
That's like French with the French, come on.
Stefan, this is just a hint. I don't know if you know this, but sometimes boys read things not for the words. No.
No.
So yeah, anyway. Yeah, I've been covering Hack Slash on the Super Queeros, and it's so questionable to me. But I'm like, well, it is a bisexual character, and I'm sure there are some bisexual boys out there who like to read about women's prison breakout. Do you want to know what the name of the next storyline on Hack Slash is? Because I jumped forward. It's called Monster Baiting.
Awesome.
Definitely. This is some quality stuff.
Is that 2 words? Like, it's baiting a monster, but it's also, like, monster baiting? Or is it just, like, flat out there monster baiting?
I mean, like, baiting would be with an I, right? Or is it just, like...
Yeah.
So it's 2 words.
So it is baiting monsters, but it's also...
Well, I don't know if there was an I. There might not have been an I, but it was 2 words. So I think they're just playing both sides of the fence here. Yeah. In the most confusing way possible. Of course.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about some comic books or something.
Yeah, totally. Young Avengers, or rather not Young Avengers, Avengers Children's Crusade, Young Avengers. No.
There's
Avengers,
no colon.
No.
They dropped the Young Avengers.
They dropped the Young Avengers? Okay,
Yeah.
because online it says Avengers, Young Avengers, the Children's Crusade.
I think when they started out with Avengers, but now they're just like, fuck that shit. No, it's just Avengers.
Okay. Well, that came out. So what did you think? I've heard a lot of complaints from people in general about Scarlet Witch fatigue. Granted, that could never happen to me because I love Scarlet Witch, and they can put her in as many books as she wants, and she can do all the crazy world-ending things that she can. But yeah, so your thoughts? Scarlet Witch. Too much? Too little? Too late?
Scarlet Witch fatigue. I would take a different tact, and I would say bi-monthly fatigue. This book needs to come out every month. I'm sorry, Jim Chung, I will pay you money myself. But the reason people are getting Scarlet Witch fatigue is not because there has never been an issue of a comic book where 9 issues have had one person in the spotlight. It's because it's been 18 months of that.
Yeah.
And that needs to not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch. No, the other thing is she's been absent for a long time. And also this title it does seem a little long. Like, I feel like, the episodes of these things. There's, I think we talked about this before, that the format of this story, based on how Heinberg is writing it, is that every issue ends with a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
So then the first third of the book is catching people up on how the cliffhanger resolved the last issue. The middle third is plot, and the last third is setting up the next cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's a little taxing. It's a little like, you know.
Yeah. And so this one I really liked what they did with the Vision and Iron Lad, because Thatcher finally made a choice, and that was good. What I didn't see coming, which is that whenever a secondary character gets some attention from the scribe, it means that this is their last guest appearance on the show.
I don't think she's actually gonna die.
I mean, she's dead, but there's reality warping powers flying around, and so
and time travel, and like there's a whole bunch of stuff that
Also, she's one of my favorite characters. Like, I don't think
she's just been getting a lot of play, screen time in general in the Marvel universe. I mean, she and Vision joined the Mighty Avengers, cool. And yeah.
I don't know how you feel about her name. That's the only thing that I've ever heard. People didn't like her name.
Mm-hmm.
But her name, I don't like Iron Lad. I don't like lads.
I love lads. Lightning Lad, awesome. Go Lad. No. You know what I don't like? Lightning Lass. I know he's your twin, but get a name.
Lad and Lass are the same thing. They're just like archaic and kind of dumb.
I hope they're Scottish. If we make a Legion of Superheroes movie, can they be Scottish? Iron Lad and Iron Lass.
Scottish.
Bonnie Iron Lass, Lightning Lassie.
If they were actually Scottish, I could accept it. But if they're just like normal, mid-American teens, it's totally dumb.
The Legion of Superheroes aren't from America. Okay, they're from space. So they're mid Milky Way. That's where they're from. Middle Milky Way. small galaxy, not Smallville.
Okay,
bigger.
yeah, no, but just Lad generally is Iron Lad, Middle American team. And, yeah.
So I was also confused about the end of about part of the end, the resolution of Avengers Crusade with this issue. So spoiler warning. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, turn your thingy off.
I think we already did spoilers.
Oh well, yeah. Oh, that's right. Sorry. But anyway, so when Wiccan and Scarlet Witch do their little magic portal opening thingy, which for some reason the second time around is a lot easier than the first time around. And then second of all, they open the portal to put the life force back into wherever it came from, and then by doing that, it exposed Doom to more of the life force, and then caused him to burn, which didn't make sense because I thought they were putting the life force out of him. So I didn't get why he got burned, other than the fact that he's in the Future Foundation and can't be pretty.
I think what happened is that they were opening the portal, and they were so the first half of the spell was opening the portal, and the second half of the spell was suck his life force out. And he interrupted them and was like, "No, I'm gonna use the portal to get more," and then he got too much and.
It was avarice. Okay.
Yeah, dude, that's the entire thing.
So he should have been an Orange Lantern.
Oh,
okay. And so as he's getting burned, he has this he's remarkably I don't know with it, and is able to deliver this
yeah, this
soliloquy
monologue about it hurts.
Well, because that's the other thing about Alan Heinberg's writing, especially in this series. I feel like this is the Heinbergiest thing I've ever seen him write. And especially in
I
this
use
series,
the word Heinbergiest frequently.
all the time.
I would say Heinbergian.
Heinbergian. This is the most Heinbergian text I have ever come across.
Wait, I need my mustache to grow out a little more. I need to be more pretentious.
Fu Manchu going on, you can...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, something, Heinberg. Oh, he just likes to have characters talk, and with the spell and the exact mechanics of what happened, that's kind of skipped over so that the character can talk more about the bullet point of what happened. Doom lost all his power. Now we're going to talk about that for 3 pages. When did it happen? In a half page.
Yeah, but I mean, I felt like it was a kind of a big revelation. It's oh, actually, the whole destroying the Avengers, that was actually me.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, well, that's kind of a big deal. And the thing that I kind of don't like about that is that it absolves the Scarlet Witch of a lot of the responsibility for what she's done. And
yeah, and
it kind of cheapens what that great soliloquy that Wiccan,
yes.
his speech to the Avengers, she clearly lost her powers, yes she did, unspeakable things, and she's trying to atone for them, and how many times have you been possessed by XYZ, force that made you do crazy things, and this is going to happen to all of us. We live in a super heroic world, and this will happen. And it's what you do afterwards is what matters. And that's such a great line. But then it's then he kind of cheapens it by the whole Doctor Doom revelation that Scarlet Witch actually has no culpability in what she's done. And I didn't like that.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that is weird. And I mean, the thing that's weirded me out about this story as a whole is that just how quickly the Avengers and the X-Men are ready to punish the Scarlet Witch with very, very severe punishments.
Well, what I noticed in this one, and I haven't been keeping up, I just, I was over here and Anthony was like, read these and then we'll talk about them on my computer. I don't understand how the internet works, so...
It's made with pipes. There's tubes that connect the computers.
Like Mario!
Yes! Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you eat a bunch of mushrooms, you can go through.
I think I've done that. Yeah. Anyway, So what I noticed was Dr. Doom was like, oh, I'll transport you home, and they're like, what? That's not Doom-like. And then it's oh, he's gonna, because he wants the Avengers and the X-Men to fight. And then it's oh, that is very Doom-like. And then that's just brushed off there. Like, it doesn't work at all, and the Avengers and the X-Men are just like, oh, let's go fight him, and it's like, wow, there was no conflict between them at all.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good plan.
Well, and it's funny because a lot of the time, like, superheroes will like brush up against each other and they'll have big fights. And it's like, especially the marketing of this book, and especially like the big cliffhangers and stuff. There are a lot of group fights in this storyline, but a lot of the fighting now is simply just people yelling at each other, like, the Scarlet Witch is evil. No, she's not evil. No, she's evil.
But I don't understand why. Like, what I constantly don't understand, and like this has happened in a lot of the comic books I've been reading. Like, superheroes can't seem to resolve their issues other than punching each other. Like, you know, like in Avengers Academy, I was reading like a few issues, you know, a back issue or two ago, like, you know, Stryker and the Captain America are like having a yell out, and then suddenly Metal just like punches like Captain America for like no apparent reason other than he's angry. I'm like, words? Like.
But at the same time, like, and that's with like the hyper reality. It's like when you in your mind would like to punch someone in the face, a superhero actually punches someone in their face, and then the other one automatically forgives them.
Which is no, but I think that's actually great, and in comic books is a pretty great point about them. But that they should like address it, like not to the meta extent, but just be like, oh yeah, superheroes are violent all the time, and they're violent to each other. It's just how they live life.
They definitely did that in one of the Runaways X-Men crossovers, where the X-Men were like, Molly has to come with us because she's a mutant, and Molly was like, I'm gonna punch you. And then they got in a big fight, and Molly was like, why are we always fighting?
Speaking of, with the whole like X-Men and the Avengers fighting each other in this issue. Oh.
Yeah. I was gonna be like, are you gonna talk about Dakin? Because I just read that the first issue.
Oh no, I was actually gonna talk about how like that's all they seem to be able to do. Like I feel like that's like what Marvel is gonna be about for the next few years. Because like before it was Civil War, then it was like Fear itself, and then now it's like X-Men versus Avengers. And I'm like, really? Like, can we just have superheroes be heroes? And I guess they tried that with like Heroic Age and didn't do very well. But like.
Well, because Heroic Age didn't really have a story.
Yeah.
Well, Heroic Age was kind of the reconstruction of Dark Reign, right?
Yeah.
That was like that year. And that's the thing. Marvel, like every 13 to 14 months, has a new crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's their formula now. And I don't remember when they started doing that. But it's one of those like line-wide crossover events, and that's been really good for their franchise building. That's how the Hulks got all their books. That's how the Avengers became the force they are now.
Yeah.
It kind of
really well. It's
everyone on the map.
like 4 or 5 books right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, because they're good. Yeah. But yeah. So I'm not at all fazed by that. What I just saw though, like why they're fighting, and what I like is that it was an image of the Scarlet Witch and Hope. And we can also talk about how breasts don't work the way that they were in that movie, in that picture,
or how Georgia O'Keefean that image was. There was this huge, not huge, but there was like a slight Twitter controversy when like the artist like picked the cover, and then everyone's like, vagina, it's a vagina, oh my god, it's a vagina, and I'm like, guys, hey.
Oh my god, okay, please, if you want to see vaginas, like vagina imagery, look at any Kylie performance from this last album. It is all vaginas. She just comes on stage and like flying vaginas, falling vaginas with hands and feet, and I don't even know, but it's just all vagina. It's what I think it's awesome, because you always hear about blah 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 phallic imagery, blah 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 Freud, and it's like, well, but how would you do the opposite? Like, how would you make vaginal imagery? And Kylie does it very classily. IMHO. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, no, definitely huge. Yeah, I see that. I see where you're coming from with the whole Hope, Scarlet Witch vagina. Yes, definitely. This vagina has teeth.
But you were saying that the whole reason why they're fighting, it's the Phoenix is coming back, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. I might pick up an issue of Uncanny X-Men because It looks interesting. Sinister had a great nature versus nurture speech in the preview for the last issue of Uncanny X-Men, and then he told Hope about the Phoenix. Yeah, and the Phoenix Force coming back is a big thing. I thought it was going to be with Rachel. It looks like it's going to be with Hope, I guess. It might involve the Scarlet Witch. Maybe her journey for redemption.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. So there's a lot of questions up in the air. I'm like, I kind of like Jean Grey dead. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think that it solves a lot of problems. I really don't want another stupid melodramatic Scott, Jean, Emma triangle again. Because, like, come on, we're done with that.
That's the thing. I feel like it's interesting because if you think about women's roles in comics, right? Successful solo titles can't. I don't know. I mean, Wonder Woman, I feel like, is the sole successful female main character. No, that's not true. There's other ones like Hack Slash and things like that.
Yeah. And Birds of Prey is, I mean, it's a team, but
it's a team. Well, that's the thing. It's the solo aspect that I want to get at, because I think that, you know, female leaders of teams, Gen 13, that kind of stuff, that is all over that's very successful. If you have a team book with a woman in charge, that I think
works.
But like Miss Marvel, I think had a very long run for hers.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when everyone was like, "Dang it, why is that being canceled?" Like, but I think that Jean Grey, the reason she's better dead is because I feel like she's moved past everyone else, and I think that that's something that happens to a lot of the Grey characters, like Nate and Nathan and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that I just don't. I would like Jean Grey, the book about her as a white crowned phoenix, just flying around doing shit and being all crazy. I think that would be amazing. I love Jean Grey as a character. I love her as the Phoenix, but I don't love her with Scott, and I don't love her with Wolverine at all.
Oh yeah, I really did not. Whole Uncanny X-Force was kind of like weird, and it's also Uncanny X-Force is kind of going to a really strange place. And at first I was like, oh, I totally get why everyone is like in this, and now it's like I don't know why they're continuing to talk to each other, because it looks like everyone hates each other.
Do they? I mean, they all hate Apocalypse. That was the thing for this series. They all hated Apocalypse. I didn't understand when it first got formed and was Stabby Force, and it was like, Cyclops wants a whole bunch of people with claws to go stab things for him. Yay! That's not a storyline that I think is interesting at all.
Mm-hmm.
But fighting Apocalypse, like, that was cool to me. And this whole Dark Angel thing.
I always like Apocalypse storylines. They just tend to be good.
I think I would like Apocalypse storylines if, like, Apocalypse was more, like, clearly defined as a character. Because I think he's just kind of like, whatever we want them to be. You know, it's just like, he can do anything he wants.
Very defined character. Yeah, him and Mr. Sinister are two of the...
Oh my god, I can't... I hate Sinister as a villain. I'm just saying. I think his character design is stupid. His powers are, like, ill-defined and stupid. He's like, he's psionic, but he can also do all this other weird shit, like regrow himself, because he's a geneticist. Because geneticists can do that, right? I
have a friend who's studying genetics, and she recently cut off her finger and regrew it for funsies.
Yeah, you know.
Is that Dr. Connor? Is that who that is, Stefan?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So Apocalypse aside. Well,
I was going to say, what I think is interesting about Sinister and Apocalypse is that the big it's interesting because their villainous motivation, right, is meant to be natural selection. Mm-hmm. But you can't have it. I don't think you can have a villain that operates on a natural selection level unless you have, like, the Joker, who, if you had someone who was purposefully going around, who was like, there's not enough pressure to allow the human race to get better, so I'm gonna cause a whole bunch of, like, destructive chaos.
I also kind of wish they would, like, acknowledge how much, like, the homoeroticism in Sinister's character, because, like, I feel like they don't really, because I always found him to be kind of a homoerotic character. He's kind of this, like, dandy kind of fellow,
Oh yeah, totes.
Yeah.
He's very much a dandy. Yeah, he's
Yeah, and-
super obsessed with all the Summerses.
Yeah, well, I just kind of view him like as kind of like the Marvel's Jafar, kind of, you know? He's right? He's totally Jafar.
I had never thought of him like that before, but when you say that, it's so true.
Yeah.
Who's his Iago?
All I'm saying is that I hear Slashwick coming down the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
that'd be
right.
awesome.
To extract that genetic material, Mr. Summers.
But okay, before we kind of said goodbye to this issue of Scarlet Betch, I really wanted to talk about Batwoman.
Okay.
Because I thought that Batwoman came out like a few weeks ago, and it was kind of really dramatic, and I was like, oh shit. Granted, there was a lot of like foreshadowing about what was going to go on because Batman a few issues ago was like, make sure watch out for your sidekicks because they have a tendency on dying on you. It's not fun. Like, thanks, Batman.
That's why Batwoman was like, Flamebird, I'm not training you anymore.
Yeah. But so yeah.
I thought she was dead.
I totally thought she was dead. But so I can't tell if she is actually dying because like
she's stable.
She's stable, but they basically lied to her to get her to tell them who Batwoman was.
What did they lied to her? I thought
when she was in the hospital, the lady police officer was like, "You're dying. We can't save you. We've done everything we can. We don't want you to die alone. Who should we call?" And then she's like, "Call Batwoman. Call Cat Kane." And she's like, "We found her."
Reference material.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now because I don't remember. I thought she deliriously said Kate Kane's name.
No, I think she
I'm
said.
definitely at the ads right now.
Yep.
Okay, wait.
It's like, why is
I need to call your parents, your boyfriend, anyone. Please, I don't want you to die alone. If you can hear me, give me an... Oh, she did. She definitely said that. Okay, I say she's in stable condition because this graphic didn't flatline.
Okay.
So that's why I say that.
Okay.
Because I think that and the fact that I don't think J.H. Williams III would kill a female character. Yeah, like a Flamebird. Like a female... I think that, Jason Todd's death was just the sadism of the fans wanting something more dramatic to happen. I don't think... I think if you are respecting your character, your sidekick character, if you were respecting them, you don't kill them because they are a superhero too.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not just... And that's... Because when I saw the death, I was like, this is one of the most... this is one of the best comics for representation of female characters. Like, they cannot refrigerate this woman.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
It's... that's why I was scandalized for the first half of the book, and then when I saw the hospital scene, I was like, oh, she's fine, that's good. Okay, they made good choices. Go on!
Also, just the matching of Kate Kane's sex scene and the Flamebirds, like, getting eviscerated. Wow. Like...
And people do that a lot, but it was, again...
It was really well done, and I love the artistic choices, and yeah, so can't stop singing his praises. Wonderful.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's why this is, like, one of the only books that I continue to buy in print.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
So, speaking of other comic book gay comic book characters that we keep on buying, but this is one that I'm not really sure why I keep on buying. Kevin Keller!
I am definitely gonna start buying him online.
I have to like acknowledge the fact that I'm like not an Archie person. It's like I have to like.
What I love about Kevin Keller is that he's so Archie. It's just cute. It's just fun, and I feel like, I feel like, in terms of gay characters, I feel like this is something that, I feel like he's the Archie universe to a lot of people I know is a more relatable story. Like when I have gay friends that I want to like show them gay characters in comic books, a lot of the time I'll show them Kevin Keller because he's not some superhero.
He's a human being.
Because he's a human being, yeah, and he has like human being problems and stuff like that. And
well, Archie human being.
Well, yeah, Archie human being problems. Yeah. Only 99% of the people like me. But yeah, I think it's because it's lighter, it's more fun, it's not as involved. I think there's a certain aspect of if you're talking about getting people involved in comic books to a lot of people are just superhero comic books, and so a lot of people just aren't on that level. And I think that Archie it's nice that there is now a gay character who is like because we've actually had gay superheroes longer than we've had like a gay Archie character, and it does kind of maybe seem a little backwards in that sense, for someone from the gay community who's like, yeah. That's the kind of stuff people, because like you were always talking about how awesome the fashion page is in the middle of that, and it's like, yeah, gay people read Veronica, so why doesn't she have a GBF?
Yeah. Although to be fair, I think that if had the comics code not been implemented in the 1950s, we totally would have had a gay character in one of those like comic book soap operas that were very popular. I were actually more prominent than superhero comics, way back when. Yeah. And if that had continued in the same way that like manga had continued with their social books, we totally would have had American Yaoi long before Japan.
Yeah. That's very true. And I was also going to say, like, there are definitely coded characters. One of the things when Kevin Keller was first coming out, lots of people were like, wasn't Jughead the gay?
Yeah, right, yeah,
So, and when I told Zephon today that there was a gay character in Archie, he was like, you mean someone came out? Like, he didn't realize they introduced a new character. Or just someone acknowledged they were gay.
That makes more sense to me than because like the cast does like never changes, so I was kind of like,
my favorite part is the walk-on roll from the black characters.
Yeah, exactly. This is my black friend. Hi.
World. No, that's the thing. There are two black people at Archie World, and they're dating. Yeah,
not soon. Kevin's gonna have a black husband. That's gonna be very exciting.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
I've never read any of those. I've some like regular Archie comics before, but I've never read any of those like Life with Archie or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, and quickly before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Avengers Academy for Stryker, who is the new kind of queer guy on set. I know that a few weeks ago, when Dakin got canceled, and I think, and then Alpha Flight, a few weeks before that, we heard got canceled. Like, oh my God, we're gonna have nothing to talk about because there'd be no queer characters in comic books, at least in Marvel. But then, so Stryker, who's been on an Avengers Academy for a really long time, and who's been kind of like a womanizer, has come out.
Womanizer with no success, like he's just all talk. Yeah.
And so he evidently has come out now, and there was a really great interview with the creator talking about how this is something that was planned from the beginning. I know a friend of mine was asking me like, well, how far back does this go? Is this like a new writer kind of scenario? But evidently it's been planned for a while, which I think is really great.
It's been the same writer for like 2 years. Yeah. So, So it's and he said it's been planned. That was a really good interview. That and iZombie, one of their characters who has been there from the beginning, also just came out. The Spot, the Were-Terrier, I think, is what I heard.
I just love that there's a Were-Terrier.
And I don't know about you, but I bought that first issue and fully expected there to be a gay character at the beginning of that. With that kind of art on the cover, I was like, there has to be a homosexual at this point in this story. And it took them like 2 years. But now they have one, so good job, guys! And then the other one, of course, is Bunker from Teen Titans. I haven't read the newest issue. I have, at least in Supercours, I don't know if it's come across, but I have been a little wary of the direction that this book is going. It seems to be on the bad female representation side of the New 52.
And it also just seems, it seems to be like a step backwards for DC in general. Like, not like treatment of women aside, just like art direction and plot, it just seems like something really dated. I mean, you can totally, it feels like something that came out of Image during the 90s.
And it's interesting because one of the things that people talk about a lot when they talk about why comics have such a why women in comics are not represented, or differences in gender representation in comic books. And they talk about how men, it's a power fantasy, and women, it's a sexual fantasy that they are the ideals of. And one of the things that they talked about at DragonCon when we went to that awesome panel was how teen characters are the girls are advanced in age, so that they don't look underage, whereas male characters are younger. Their appearances are younger. Their characters, their actions are younger. So the women end up being kind of hypersexualized mothers to them, because the audience is adult men in their 30s and 40s who still feel like kids at heart, right? So the male characters that they identify with are kids, because it's Teen Titans, it's about being in your teens. But the women that they then want to objectify are adults, because they don't want to objectify like teenage girls, because that's gross. And so, in terms of maybe the forces at work, they're a little nicer, but it's still it's just really lopsided, and that's definitely happening in Teen Titans. And the only reason that I am still like super on board with this book is because I'm like, maybe that means Bunker will be a balanced and awesome character.
Well, given the fact that his his character design is centered around the color purple, I'm not sure it's going to be.
But in the first issue, he did not Kevin Keller us with gay rights.
It's true. It's true.
So that's the thing, and it's looking at the solicits and stuff. It looks like what's about to happen in this issue that I haven't read yet is that Superman or Superboy and Wonder Girl are going to get in a fight, and all the women are going to be sidelined, and then the boys, so Bunker included, are going to take down Superboy. And get him on the team. So again, backward step for the ladies, forward step for the gays.
Maybe. Just one more quick shout out. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in our last episode, but I read a really great op-ed about how the concept of a Mary Sue is sexist, and I really liked it. The author basically talked about in the opening paragraph, which is all you really need to read because it was so well done. It's basically like there's this girl, she she doesn't have any superpowers, but everybody's in love with her, and she has this really tragic backstory, but but everyone can she can do everything that she wants to do. Everyone loves her. She has no superpowers, but she succeeds at everything in her life. XYZ, blah 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 blah. And Alex is really kind of the stereotypical Mary Sue setup, and the author's like, I just described Batman.
No, that's the reason why I hate Iron Man. Why when I was growing up I hated Batman until good movies about Batman came out. But no, Iron Man is the exact same way. I hate him. I think he's the Gary Stu. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say there are Gary Stews around us right now. Yeah. And that's the thing. Bella, the Mary Sueest of Mary Sues, is a box office and literature superstar. So but that's very good. I like that. I want to read the article.
Yeah, I'll link it in the video. So yeah. So thanks for tuning to this issue of Scarlet Betch. We're sorry we were gone for so long, and we're happy you joined us back. So happy Christmas, Kwanzaa, solstice, Hanukkah, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Stefan, for being.
Thank you, Stefan.
Next time, Alex should read some comic books and join us.
I'll see if I can make that happen. Bye.